These are the best settings for Warzone Mobile in 2024. Thank you Warzone Mobile for sponsoring this video. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to download the game today. Now let's hop into the settings. First off, the HUD. Okay, and boom, this was my HUD. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward. It's really like your Call of Duty Mobile HUD if you already have an account. I would just use that same template and apply it to your Warzone Mobile HUD. Each person's gonna have a slightly different HUD because each person's device is different, their finger size is different, what's comfortable for their hands are different. So honestly, this you just really have to customize and find your preference. I'll give you a few sample HUDs of a 2-finger, 3-finger, 4-finger, 5-finger, and 6-finger HUD, just so you have different ideas in case you're not sure what to use and you're a bit lost. Some important keynotes inside of a HUD. So first off, with the minimap, you can actually change it. So if you go to variants, you can make it round, you can make it square. Personally, I like square because you can see more. You can rotate your map as you turn your screen, the map will turn with you, or you can disable it so it stays fixed. I like mine on enabled because it makes it easier to see where everybody's coming from and what's going on. As for your actual weapon slot, if you go to variants here, you have 3 different options. You have multi-gesture, minimalist, classic. I personally prefer the multi-gesture just because it simplifies the HUD. All I do is put it on the ammo as integrated, so because instead it'll be up top, and that's just more clutter on your screen, which you don't need. So I recommend you go to integrated. For auto fire type, this allows you to switch between single fire shots and full auto. I recommend putting it on gesture so you don't accidentally click the single fire auto. Now let's go to the equipment. If you have it on direct throw, as soon as you tap it, it'll throw. If you hold it a little bit, it'll hold on, and then when you let go of the hold, it'll throw as well. I really recommend this because it's way faster and it gives you way more versatility. Default, you would just have to equip it and then cook it and then throw it. It's just more steps, which you don't need. Now for the crouch button, you can either have it merge or split. If you have it split, you can have 2 different buttons, the drop shot button and the crouch button. I've always had mine on merged in Call of Duty Mobile, so just a personal preference here. Now for your aim down sight, definitely just have it as button. You don't want to have to double tap every time you enter and exit an ADS. It's just unnecessary. Now if you go on the bottom right, there's HUD presets. You can go ahead and choose some of the different HUD layouts that they have for you. This will give you some versatility if you don't know how to start, but those are a bit more basic and I think you should create your own to what's most comfortable for you. Now as for your ADS fire, I would just keep these both off. It'll make it the most optimal in my opinion. Now next up, you want to go ahead and use manual fire. That's the best setting so you can control when you want to actually get into an engagement or not. As for automations, I have mine on custom. You can turn it on or off if you'd like. If you want to restore your default settings, you can just press restore. If you want to broadcast it, I believe that's to share it, and you have the code there. You can share it to people so they can go ahead and actually apply it to their HUD and their settings. Now if we go to gameplay, first one, automations. Automations is mainly for BR, so whenever you're walking over weapons, different equipments, handguns, it'll basically pick it up automatically for you in the beginning. When you have weapons, it won't do that. You'll have to select it manually. Some people auto pick up by class, so you can then prioritize whether you want to pick up an AR over an SMG or SMG over an LMGs. Now for damage assist, I personally have it off. What happens is whenever you're getting shot at, it'll help you turn to the person who's shooting at you a little bit more precisely. I keep it off just because I want full control of my actual person's POV. I have loot auto picked up for BR because, you know, there's some loot that just needs to be picked up, whether it's ammo or guns or grenades, and it just saves a lot of time, especially with BR where you can get third party very easily. It's good to have this on, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't have auto mantle on because if you are in a situation where you're near an obstacle and you don't want to jump up something, if you just sprint towards it, it will climb you up, and that can mess with your movement and what you want to do. Parachute, definitely have that on manual because it'll give you full control over when you can release it and when you don't. I turned off climb up the stairs button because why would you want a button to climb upstairs? You can just literally walk up it. Auto crouch, no. Turn the corners assistance. Basically, whenever you're turning a corner, it'll help you turn easier. As for auto equipping armor, this is not good. You should definitely have it off because whenever you're low on armor or whenever you walk over armor, it'll automatically equip it if you have room for it to be equipped. And I've tried this before. I got into some gunfights, and because I was low on armor, it would just auto equip it mid gunfight and it would just mess me up a lot. So turn that off. As for virtual stick behavior, definitely put it on analog. You do not want to always sprint. You want to have the ability to walk. Sprint to stand is helpful because if you're crouched or prone, if you just literally move up with your joystick, it'll help you get out of that much easier. Camera rotation is really personal preference. I personally like accelerated because if I swipe faster, my character's camera will move faster. Versus fixed, the exact amount you swipe on your screen is the exact amount you'll turn. So it's a lot more consistent feeling, but accelerated, if you get used to it, gives you a lot more speed and reaction time, in my opinion. Turn off ADS button for rotation. That'll just mess up your aim. Turn off the throwback, allows rotation off, not needed. Weapon mount, movement exit. So whenever you're in a weapon mount and you literally just move, it can, when it's on, it'll exit you. If it's off, it won't. You'll have to click the button to auto off mantle again. As for the exit delay, do it short. There's no reason to have it medium or long. Weapon trigger, keep it on manual so you can control when you're shooting. Auto fire on objects, definitely not. Again, it's all about getting full control over your character, so nothing is done in a way where you don't want it to be done. That's where I would put it on tap. I just think on tap is way better because it'll fire the gun immediately versus if you have it on release, you have to hold it down and then release it for it to shoot, and that's just way too slow. Aim down sights when firing, no. Sometimes you need a hip fire, so this is really important. Keep that off. This is personal preference, the snap ADS fire button to finger. I don't think you should keep it on. At least that's not what I would do. Auto melee, I do not think you should do this. Sometimes you're in a close encounter and your character will just auto punch the dude. Can be helpful, but really it's better to just continue shooting most of the time. And if you really did want to punch him, you have a separate button which you can do that with. Sprinting door bash, yeah, I really like this. You can just sprint through doors instead of having to open it. It's just much faster. Force reload, have that off. Equipping armor off, because again, you don't want to randomly equip armor out of time. When you have equip auto armor plates on, it'll equip your armor up to the fullness, versus if you have that off, you're gonna just do one at a time. Aim assist, definitely have that on. It's gonna help you aim better, way better. It's like aimbot but legal. As for vehicle controls, I personally prefer a stick. It'll make it a little bit more easier to move, but really this doesn't matter, personal preference. Have your BR squad mates outlined just like in Call of Duty Mobile. If you can see through the walls and see their outline when whatever they're doing, which gives you more information and how you can play with them. And it's way better that way. Same thing with multiplayer, keep that on. Now onto interface. You should definitely have this on the left in my opinion. Now keep this next one off. You want to have the ammo integrated in both the multiplayer and battle royale. Definitely have your hit marker display on so you can see when you're actually hitting somebody. I think you should have the hit marker size small as well so it doesn't get in the way. I have the auto sprint lock off. Some people like it floating so they can just move the joystick up and then it'll lock. For me, I don't like that, but again, everybody's different. As for the stance, I have it merged. This is gonna be splitting the drop shot button and the crouch button. I have it merged because that's just always how I've played. I have my fixed joystick off. I do not have it inverted. I have all those off because it just causes confusion for no reason. Resupply alert, I guess that's always good to have. If you are low on supplies and you get that alert, it might just remind you. As for the reload cancel, I don't have that on because it's not necessary. Now sensitivity, I'm gonna make a separate video on sensitivity. For now, these are mine and you can copy them if you would like, but just like Call of Duty Mobile, I would optimize it towards what your preference is. Now we got to go to graphics. I recommend going on minimum graphics, maximum frame rate that you can. For now it's locked because I'm in the open beta. Keep your performance optimization for frame rate. So this way your gameplay is always optimized for the best smoothness. Allow high-res asset streaming over mobile data plan. I have that off. All that means is if you have things that need to be downloaded, if you're not on the actual data, it's not going to download. It'll only download on Wi-Fi. If you have it on yes, whenever you have data on and your Wi-Fi is unavailable, it will still download those things that need to be downloaded. Make sure your frame rate is uncapped or to the maximum that your device can handle. This will make your gameplay way more smooth. Now for your field of view, I prefer 90. It's going to give you that benefit so that you can see people in the corner of your peripherals way easier versus if you had it on like 65. All right, now to the audios tab. So these are the best settings that you want to have for the audio tab. You want to have the music volume all the way low and dialogue volume to 30. These will give you the best sounding abilities when it comes to footsteps. And then download anything else that you need to download, whether it's map or assets or whatever, all in this download section. And then lastly, you can have your social preferences, whether you want to have your party invites on or friends, friend requests, mute notifications, voice chats, blah 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 blah. All of that here is up to you. As for the voice, same thing. This is just mainly for voice chats. Proximity chat, I recommend you have this on because it makes the game way more fun.
Hey Nick, I don't want to fight you, Nick. I don't want to fight you, Nick.
Now if you want to talk with your friends, You just gotta click the button on the top right, the little headphones, and then you can create a new channel, invite your friends, and basically y'all will be able to talk in game.